Hey everyone, hope you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to dive in and do our daily technical analysis update of commodities. We're going to work our way through the dollar, yields, precious metals, and commodities ETFs that I follow. If you need help with anything, check out finding-value.com. We still have the discount coupon code LEAP, LEAP. It is leap year. You can put that in, 50% off for the first month. Or you can get a bigger discount on the yearly membership that it's still running. Let's dive in here. I'll give you my financial opinions. Let's see what today's got in store for us. So we've got the dollar continuing higher today, but we do have a wick at the top with a little bit of a trend change possible. So if I go into the shorter term time frame, we can draw a trend line kind of up like this, and you can see that we've turned throughout the day lower and the momentum's heading back down, but it hasn't broken any uptrend line or anything like that. So although we've got this wick at the top, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's got enough oomph to throw us off the increasing upward move. The dollar does dictate the value of things priced in dollars. So it's going to have an impact on the commodity pricing across a lot of different commodities. So right now we have a stronger dollar. Yields, on the other hand, did drop quite a bit. We've got a resistance level that we're at for the 2-year yield. We've got some selling pressure, and we could see yields drop here. Is something going to be released tomorrow? I think there's some sort of update that's going on, but we'll find out. But right now, as of this moment, we're up against resistance, and we've got selling pressure with a bearish engulfing where we could potentially go lower in the short term. The 10-year also up against resistance. That's what we're up against, and a little bit of selling pressure today. It's not a reversal candlestick. It's just a down day at resistance. And then the 30-year, we just had a down day. It was down 0.52%, not a huge selling pressure move. We are still trying to get through some resistance here. TYX, TNX ratio moving up, which is generally good for gold. The only problem is that yields, well, no, yields went down too. The only problem is the dollar was up. But the yields and the way that they fell, the 10-year fell more than the 30-year, resulting in an upward move in this ratio. But we are still kind of pressed at a very inverted level, and we've been held down here for a while. Bond price is up a little bit on the 20-year, right at support resistance is what I'll call it. And then the 2 and 10-year, you can see that we're dropping out a little bit to the downside. Perhaps this yield curve could uninvert as we've broken through this trend line. But we got to see some more follow through. If the yield curve uninverts, that's generally good for gold. So gold, we had a flat day today. And the strongest correlation, I would say, in history, it's not so much yields, it's mainly the dollar. And yields can go up or down with the dollar going in opposite directions. It's very possible because it depends on how strong the monetary policies are behind the currencies that it's competing against. But right now, gold looks fantastic. I think it looks great. It's not really selling off, even though we had a pretty big move to the upside. So big move, it's basically like a flag pattern that's developing. And then I think it will probably continue to the upside. We've got silver. Silver was down today, 0.63%, but it still looks incredibly good. Big long-term view, there's your trend line. We zoom in, and it's just doing a retest of the trend line. Is this the beginning of a big move? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if we can get some traction here on silver. Platinum getting sold off quite hard today, almost like it's doing some sort of, I need to go back to this line again, which has basically been rubbing on this line for a long time, this one. Maybe we come on back and tag it again. And then palladium also selling off, but was bought up throughout the end of the day. just like a retest move. This is a inverted shoulder, head shoulder with a return move. And let's see if we can get some support here and try to turn on higher. XAU to gold ratio, we're still getting some selling pressure here. We had a pretty good, nice run up, a little bit of a sell off, and then I bet you we're going to end up working our way on up if silver and gold get their butt moving, which it looks very likely like that could be the case. And XAU to gold is just a amplified gold and silver. Hopefully that's the case, an amplified move, a leveraged move to gold and silver. CRB index down a little bit, but still looks good to go higher. It's a bloody nose. Still looking good. We got the CRB to S&P 500 also down a little bit today, but we've broken this downtrend, so hopefully it's trending higher. We've got GDX down quite a bit, 2.3% back to the support level, which is this blue line going across, and that line goes across all this. Still at support resistance. We've got GDXJ also looking fantastic. It's just not broken out yet. That's what we're looking for. And SILJ also back within the damn pattern again. We're back inside the pattern. Again, we'll see what the metals do. Maybe we're going to extend it out to this tip. We'll see. But it looks good. We're squeezing up. That is for surely a thing. Crude oil up 0.73%. Looking pretty good. Pretty solid day today. And again, let's hope the momentum can continue. We've got good momentum here. And we've broken out of this resistance line to the upside. So I think it looks pretty good. TTF nat gas up a little bit today, above support. It's holding on. It is holding on. And this is a retest move, in my opinion. Your base, your breakout, and then your retest. This will also impact coal and other electricity generation sources, mainly coal, but it will also impact ammonium too. Urea, ammonium nitrate, and ammonium. Natural gas has an impact on. Nat gas up in Henry Hub 2.5%, but we're still, to me, looks like we're basing out. It's going to take some time. Our boy XOP, yeah, you know me, looking fantastic. Look at that. Bullish engulfing. We gapped down, ended way up in a very strong configuration, and we are trying to break through that neckline. Hello, baby. Let's go. This looks really good for XOP. Here's your bullish engulfing, and it's breaking out of the neckline. Now, again, let's hope the momentum can continue on this. OIH also looking fantastic. We gapped down in the morning, ended super strong towards the ending point, the top of the candlestick. Looks really good for a big move. Big move over time. Occidental Petroleum's CEO thinks that we're going to get into potential shortages in 2025. If that's the case, we're going to go gangbusters on energy service. I think this is a really good spot to be looking. Sprott Physical Uranium Trust down a little bit, 1.5%. Looks like we're just kind of basing out here for the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust. And again, guys, this very well could get something that looks like that. Very well could. We've got URA also down a little bit. I'm not 100% convinced that this is a bottom yet. Usually what you see in bottoms is a squeezing. So you'll see a squeezing like this squeezed up into the corner there. And then when you look at the corner in here, you'll start to see bigger buying pressure candlesticks start to show up. You'll see like a bullish engulfing like we have here. And then you get this big surge out of that pattern of the squeeze up. So it's generally led by some bullish engulfing or some pattern that pushes us up and out. Right now, I don't see any of those like bullish engulfing patterns yet. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist. We just don't have it yet. So we do have some wicks at the bottom that does indicate buying pressure. But the momentum is still to the downside, and we still have these two large red bearish engulfings that we really haven't answered back with any buying pressure behind it. So I'm going to be patient here and just wait. URNM also seeing the same thing. We're struggling to go up, but we're not really selling off either, at least in this circle here. We do have some momentum that was generated with these two big bearish engulfing candlesticks pushing you lower. And then the bounce, you watch the bounce, and it looks like we'll see what if there's any follow through here. If there's follow through, I'll change my mind in a heartbeat and say we're going up. That's what I'm looking for. What's coming here next? If we see a large selling pressure candlestick, we're going lower. If we see a gap lower and a big up candlestick, then we're going on up. So that's what we're looking for. URNJ, it's the same setup. The momentum's to the downside. You've got this pattern there. It's coming down, and we got to see a green candlestick if we're going higher, a big one. If not, and we get a big red candlestick, we're going lower. Tan, a little bit of selling pressure, not much buying pressure. Still doesn't look that great. Looks like we could potentially go lower. We got to see a turn here. We got to see some buying pressure. Buying pressure looks like this, but it didn't really, it failed. Failed, has a bearish engulfing there, pulled on back, bearish engulfing there. Still have these big red candlesticks kind of lingering all over the place, which means people are still selling TAN. They're trying to get out. Copper selling pressure today. We could do a return move for a retest. Retest the trend line. Looking a little bit further out, the retest could bring us back here and do a retest on that. You could also draw the line if you want up here. Something along the lines of that. We've got COPX down a little bit, down 1.5%. We had a bearish engulfing yesterday. I said, yeah, we're probably going to pull back. Here's our pullback, and we'll see if there's what follow through we've got over the next few days. If it's going to be a bigger pullback, or if the buyers are still all bulled up, maybe we can continue on up. Lit down a little bit. I think this is going to take some time, guys. From what I've seen, the renewable sector looks pretty weak, but I will say this does look like a Newcastle coal futures futures almost, but we could be doing a retest here. REMX down 1.55% today, still within this awesome flag pattern that I've got there, flag or pennant. I guess it's a pennant formation. S&P 500 defying all logic, going up with a bullish engulfing today where we could go higher. That's looking interesting. And then the NASDAQ also putting in a bullish engulfing, which means we could go higher, but I got to see some follow through. Bullish engulfings are very valuable at low points. So they're very valuable down here. They carry a lot of weight when you come down and you get a big bullish engulfing. That's generally the spot you want to buy, is this bullish engulfing there. They're not as valuable as you move your way on up. And if you see them more towards the top up here, they're not as valuable. That doesn't indicate that we're just going to be flying higher. It does indicate in the short term that we could be going up. But you got to be looking for strong red selling pressure candlesticks, which generally indicate that we could go lower. So we went lower, and then you got a bullish engulfing here and here. Those start to add up. It's generally a double bottom. And then we went and worked our way on up. So I'm not necessarily stating that this bullish engulfing is entirely bullish, but we need to see the follow through if it is, because we do have a bearish engulfing here, which this is going to be fighting each other. KRE up a little bit, big bullish engulfing there, and we're basically back to the bottom. So I still think this could potentially go higher. Watch what interest rates do. Interest rates going lower is most likely going to push KRE up. EEM down a little bit today. It's still just chugging sideways for the most part in this channel there. We've got XHB, which was up quite a bit, 1.77%. That's a big boy move there. Looks good. I mean, momentum is still carrying us higher. Looks good. Moo also moving on up, big bullish engulfing there. Generally, when they're at the bottoms like this, um, those are adding up. I think that we're probably putting in a bottom and eventually work our way on up for Moo. Iron ore, got a lot of downside momentum here. It's into a bullish engulfing, but I wouldn't call bottom yet. I think we're gonna have to base out for a little bit. Nickel down a little bit, but we're in an uptrend. I do like nickel, and I think it looks good. To continue higher, aluminum down a little bit today, but still looking good to continue higher. Not a huge selling pressure day, no follow through. It's looking all right. Baltic Dry Index up 2%, always a good thing. Moving on up for the Baltic Dry Index. Newcastle coal down 2%, but I do think it looks good down here, boys. I do. Let me throw natural gas on this thing. Here's natural gas overlaid on top of it. Yep, coal and natural gas are the same thing. Who would have wondered? And then I will throw urea ammonium nitrate. Oh, come on. There we go. It's right here. Same percent. And urea ammonium nitrate is the same thing. Really? No way. I would have never guessed that. And it looks like coal's a beast, dude. Coal is a beast in terms of how leveraged that is. So coal does look like it's trying to bottom. Give it some time. Natural gas will bottom probably over the next 3, 4 months, 5 months, something like that. Bitcoin, big down day in Bitcoin. Wow. Selling pressure continuing down. There is a little wick at the bottom, which means there's a little bit of buying pressure towards the end of the day. There's a little bit of buying pressure towards the end of the day. You could say it's maybe a short-term broken trend line, but we'll see what kind of bounce it is. I'm not in this stuff, but some people might even think, oh, it's a kind of it's not a head and shoulders necessarily, but it doesn't look too good when you start throwing in these big red candlesticks on the right-hand side. That's what I'll say there. Ethereum also down quite a bit. You can see that the red candlestick, the red army showing up right now. We could see further downside in the red army. And then looking at super microcomputers, we were down 9% today. And the selling pressure is starting to leak into it. You can see the big red candlesticks, the red army showing up. And that generally indicates sideways to lower movements. The momentum of all these buyers coming in thinking buy the pullback, it's going to stay up for a little bit. It'll be distribution of the insiders selling to you or the smart money. And then eventually it will crash when everybody tries to exit at the same time. But it takes time. Nvidia is the same way, down, or we are up 1%. There's your bearish engulfing here on high volume. And is it squeezing up? Maybe, but I don't think we're going to get some gigantic run out of this. Here's the monthly with the big wick at the top. That screams to me that we could potentially go lower. It could also, do one of these things too. Do something like that. Batman pattern. It could do a double top. It could do top one like this. It could do even like that, which is a higher high false breakout, and get a lot of people sucked in. But that's what I see for today, guys, in terms of kind of the overall markets. Give me a thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Subscribe to the website if you'd like. To learn more, we've got a Sunday question and answer session coming up at 5 p.m. I'll see you guys there. We do have a presentation in the beginning of it. I'll be going more over position sizing, risk, how I choose companies, what do I look for like an ideal setup. A lot of people, retail investors, man, do they really like the possibility of a big move. But that's only one aspect that I look at, is the potential size of the move. You also have to look at a bunch of other things. And I'll go through it. We'll go through some examples of what I look for. I know some people want me to go through a balance sheet. I can do that, but I think it's pretty self-explanatory for a lot of it. I'll go through what I look at and why I look at a couple of different things. I'll just say that. And we can do that with one of the companies that I just entered. So that's all I've got. Oh, and I did enter a company. I did put an update for all you guys if you want to look to see what I recently purchased. I did make a recent purchase. But yeah, that's all I've got for today, guys. I'll catch you later. This is Finding Value.